Everyone's talking about AI, but 99% of people don't know how to use it to actually make money. Today, I'm going to show you how I use AI in my 7-figure Amazon business, the 3 ways I use it every single day to save time, make more money, and how you can do exactly the same thing. Let's dive in. Finding suppliers that aren't on Google. For the last 5 years, storefront stalking, Smart Scout, and reverse sourcing have been the tools that we've used in our business to scale to 7 figures and beyond. We've used these tools to find profitable brands worth millions of dollars a year in sales. If you follow our content, we're always talking about the importance of picking up the phone and calling your suppliers. Sometimes it's the difference between getting the virtual door slammed in your face and closing a multi-6-figure wholesale account. And when you're looking for leads, you want to gather 2 pieces of contact information, the brand's phone number and the brand's email address. But what happens when the brand doesn't list the phone number on their website? You haven't even tried reaching out to them yet and you're already 2 steps behind. Google is great. It's the largest search engine in the world, but even the best search engine will only give you results for your specific question. AI is different. It generates answers based on the information it's trained on. It creates, it doesn't just search. Check this out.
So I found this brand here on Amazon called Dipper Cones, and we're going to be using this as an example for our video. So if you know anything about the sourcing process, the next thing that you do after you find the brand, whether that's through storefront stalking, Smart Scout, or reverse sourcing, is you need to find the contact information to reach out to them. And so typically you would use Google, right? So if you go on Google and you search for Dipper Cones, you are going to get this website that looks like it is straight out of 2001. And you can see that there's really not a lot of information. There's some products, just kind of basic website, right? And if we click on the Contact Us page, we should ideally see a phone number, an email, and a contact form. And in this case, we only have a really basic contact form. So that is where ChatGPT is going to come into play to help us find the phone number for this brand so we are able to reach out to them and hopefully provide them with some value as well as get a price list. At the end of the day, the contact form is a method of contacting a company, but it is not a good one. We've had success in filling out contact forms, but the majority of our success has come with picking up the phone and dialing, which is why we are so passionate about it. And it's putting you a step ahead of all the other sellers who can't get access to this phone number.
Here's the prompt you're going to want to use in ChatGPT. I'm looking for the contact phone number for brand XYZ. Find the brand's phone number, even if it's hidden, outdated, or not on their site. Search deeply, business directories, Whois records, LinkedIn profiles, trade show lists, distributor sites, and BBB listings. If no number is found, find the closest distributor or executive contact instead.
So as you can see here, based on ChatGPT's response, we are able to obtain the phone number for the brand with our prompt. Now, this puts us a step ahead of every other seller that's going to be reaching out because they're going to have to fill out the contact form and we are going to have the competitive advantage to pick up the phone and dial them and overcome the objection of we don't accept Amazon sellers.
We can now import that brand into our contact sourcing spreadsheet, and we are much further ahead in terms of contacting the supplier if no phone number is listed. ChatGPT is going to find things that Google is not, and it can be a really useful tool when you're searching for suppliers where you just need to get on the phone in order to close the wholesale account. Amazon product compliance. Let me tell you about the moment we realized compliance on Amazon isn't optional, it's absolutely critical. Around a year ago, we had our items automatically cross-listing to the Mexico marketplace, and on paper, everything looked good. Then out of nowhere, we got hit with a Section 3 violation for a product that we had never even sold in Mexico. If you've never seen a Section 3, it's basically Amazon's way of saying, you're doing something wrong, fix it, or you're gone. No warning, no clarification. Amazon shoots first and asks questions later, and suddenly we had to scramble to figure out what to do to save our account. It turns out the product was restricted in Mexico because of specific product guidelines. Even though the product could be sold in the US, it could not be sold in other countries. We didn't even think twice about it because it was totally compliant in the US, but it was a problem down there. And now our entire Amazon account was in danger. That's when I realized we needed a better system. We needed something that could scan for product policy violations before we ever added a product to our inventory. Now, I run every product through AI before we place an order. It tells me if a product is restricted, a compliance risk, or gated before Amazon ever has the chance to hit us with another Section 3. Let me show you exactly how we do it. I'm considering selling the following product on Amazon. Can you analyze whether it complies with Amazon's terms of service, including restricted product policies, documentation requirements, example SDS, FDA approval, category gating, and potential hazmat concerns? Here's the information you're going to want to include. Product info. Include the product title, the ASIN, the key ingredients and materials, the category and subcategory, and the image or the URL if available. And you're going to want to ask ChatGPT to spit you out the following results. Give me potential compliance risks, whether it's restricted or gated, documentation Amazon may require, and any policy violations to watch out for.
So after we put our prompt into ChatGPT, like we were talking about with our product information for our ice cream cones here, we could see that it actually spit us back the 4 different outputs that we are looking for: compliance risks, gated or restricted, documentation, and any policy violations to watch out for. So if we take a look at this, we can see that the first thing for potential compliance risks, it's just talking about making sure that we disclose all the information on the product because it's FDA labeling, also labeling accuracy of the ingredients, expiration dates, and storage and handling, right? And like all of these are going to be specific to the product you put in. The goal of this is to give ChatGPT enough information where it is able to give you accurate statements about your product so you know what to watch out for your account, right? So now we go down to the restricted or gated status here. And we could see that the grocery and gourmet food category on Amazon is gated, right? So if you're a new seller, this might be an issue for you, and ChatGPT is going to give you that information. So before you try to list this product, it might be good to know information like that. We also look at restricted products, and based on the provided information, the product does not appear to be restricted. However, also verify against Amazon's restricted products list to ensure compliance, right? So on a bird's eye view right there, we can see that this product is not restricted, which I would not imagine that it is because it is an ice cream cone. But if you have a product that might be hazardous or might be something that is a little on the edge and you're not quite sure, this can be a really useful thing for that. Let's look at documentation. So product images. So Amazon wants high quality product images, including nutritional label, ingredient list, and expiration date. So, is this something that is going to shut your listing down? Probably not, but it is something that is good to have, and ChatGPT is telling us that, so you can actually use that as a value add to pitch the brand. Invoices, we talk about this all the time, right? Verify products authenticity and sourcing, obviously super important no matter what you're selling, but ChatGPT is even going to get more granular and give you that information as far as how you're sourcing the product. FDA registration, certificate of analysis. So again, things that may be required by Amazon, not necessities, right? But ChatGPT is giving you the heads up, giving you the warning of stuff like this that you would not have if you were not using this as a resource. Policy violations to watch out for: misleading claims, avoid making unsubstantiated health claims. That goes without saying on any product, whether it's, a supplement or anything like that. You can't make any claims that's against Amazon's terms of service. Improper packaging, so everything here, like I'm not going to read all of it, right? But, hazmat says product is probably not hazardous, unlikely to be classified, which again is really good. So even if it's not classified as hazardous now, right? Like if it is a hazardous product, Amazon might come in and reclassify it, and then you have a whole host of other things to deal with, but still may require a safety data sheet as well as shelf life, because it is a food product. So, this gives you a ton of information, and to be able to find all of this in the restricted product policy on Amazon is going to take a lot of work. ChatGPT really streamlines the process so that you are able to look at all this information again at a bird's eye view and see if this is a product on the basis of when you're sourcing, if you want to actually sell this product, or when you add it to inventory, if it's something that is going to negatively affect your account in the future. So very, very useful for anything relating to restricted product policy and compliance issues.
Selling on Amazon is hard enough as it is. We don't want to be doing anything that's going to put our account at risk. And now when we go to list a product on our selling account, we're able to check if that product is allowed to be sold on the platform by Amazon. It's super important, and it's often something that is really overlooked by sellers. We just want to get inventory into our account as fast as possible, but in reality, take a step back, slow down, and make sure that the products that you're selling on Amazon are actually allowed to be sold on the platform. Email creation template. I still remember one of the first brands that we reached out to. The product was perfect, the margins made sense, and we were ready to place a test order. I sent them an email I thought sounded professional, respectful, and was really good, but a week later, crickets. I followed up, and shortly after, I got a reply that said, "Sorry, we're not working with Amazon sellers." It was a gut check to me because I never even mentioned selling on Amazon. The truth is, our email sounded just like everyone else's. No personalization, no credibility, and just got a cookie cutter response from the brand. The problem is there was no human connection in the email, and AI can change that. Although calling a brand is the best thing, sometimes brands just don't have their phone numbers listed anywhere. Let me show you how we create personalized, professional emails without sounding like a bot using AI. Here's what you're going to want to put into ChatGPT. Act as a US-based e-commerce wholesale business owner looking to open a wholesale account directly with a brand or distributor. Write a short, friendly, and professional outreach email that 1. Introduces your business, US-based, relationship-driven, e-commerce focused. 2. Mentions how you found the brand, website, trade show, retail store, etc. As a default, I would recommend that you guys say you found them off of their website. 3. Clearly requests a price list or a wholesale application. 4. Sounds human, not like a spam bot. 5. Instead of saying you are an Amazon seller, say you are an e-commerce business. 6. Is under 150 words. Here are the inputs you're going to want to put into ChatGPT. Brand name, product type, and where you found them. You're then going to ask ChatGPT to generate 3 versions of the same email. The format should be subject line and then email body. The email body should contain a greeting, intro, a request, and then a sign-off.
So as we can see here, we've put in the information for the brand that we are trying to generate emails for, and all we had to put in was the brand name, the product type, and where we found them. Now, you can include other information in this that is more personal if you would like ChatGPT to provide even more personalization to the email. But as we could see, we actually were able to generate 3 versions of the same email, just in different tonalities and wording. So it gives you a subject line. Hi there, I'm reaching out on behalf of Operation AMZ, a US-based relationship-driven e-commerce business. We focus on partnering directly with brands to bring high-quality products to a wider audience. I recently came across Dipper cones on your website and was impressed by the Dinky Dippers miniature ice cream cones. We're interested in exploring a wholesale partnership. Could you please send over a wholesale price list or application form? We'd love to learn more about your process. Best regards, Brandon, Operation AMZ. Right, so we have 3 different versions of basically the same email here, and you can get as personalized with this as you would like. If you have the name of someone at the company, you can input that as well into your prompt, and you can really start to develop a relationship and save time on writing emails. That is the biggest time suck in terms of when you're reaching out to brands in volume, is writing tons and tons of emails and responses. Really leverage and utilize ChatGPT for that, as well as to create and add more of a personal touch other than a cookie cutter template email that you send to every single brand.
Look, AI is not a magic bullet. It won't call your suppliers for you, it won't fix a broke mindset, and it won't change a failing business. But if you're already putting in the work, AI is a multiplier. It helps you move faster, make fewer mistakes, and scale your business more efficiently. I use it to nail down hard-to-find supplier information, protect my account from policy compliance issues, and even create personalized emails when reaching out to brands in the outreach process. Here's the thing. AI is great, but it's not the full system. If you want the full system, then watch the next video. It's a free 2-hour course that shows you exactly how to go from a complete beginner to an expert in brand direct wholesale. No fluff, just what works from scratch. See you there. Let's go.